gonna try a new style of video. We're gonna have a little good makeup competition. I have two of probably the most popular brands in the past year go head to head on one side of my face, and I'm gonna see which I prefer. Now, I did try and pair similar products together. Like, Charlotte Tilbury is a very established brand, and Rare Beauty has established themselves quite fast in terms of having products in every category. So I tried to pull and compare, like compete two similar products next to each other. So this is not like a dupes video or anything, but there's a lot of similarities within the lines that you'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do that, I want you to comment down below, who do you think is gonna win? Am I gonna prefer Charlotte Tilbury or am I gonna prefer Rare Beauty? Keep in mind, these are also two different price points. I'm actually very impressed with how Rare Beauty has been able to keep their prices within Sephora. And you know, Charlotte Tilbury, she's expensive. So by all rights, Charlotte Tilbury should probably perform better. But let's see. Right now, I'm thinking I'm gonna prefer Charlotte Tilbury, but we'll see. So for makeup primer, I have two. I think they're gonna be somewhat similar. They definitely have similar claims. So on the Rare Beauty team, we have the Illuminating Primer. And on Team Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Wonder Glow Instant Soft Focus Beauty Glow Primer. So we're going to start off with the Rare Beauty on this side. I'm going to try and not talk too much during the application portion because otherwise we're going to be here for forever. But here's the Rare Beauty. It has a nice subtle hydration and it does leave behind a pretty visible illumination to the skin. And then let's do the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm not gonna lie, I've never used this before. I got it in a gift from an event I attended with Charlotte Tilbury. So this is my first time using this primer. I was going to use the Hollywood Flawless Finish, but those are just two different things. This one is actually made to prime the face, and it's really, really nice actually. It feels nice and thin, not too heavy. And here's the difference. I would say Rare Beauty has more of a somewhat metallic glow here. It looks a little bit more glassy, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury, it definitely soaks into the skin more. I think it has more of a natural glow from within effect. I think both are great, but I've always loved this Rare Beauty primer. These have different purposes if you ask me. This one is more for natural makeup. This one you can wear without makeup. I definitely need to have a foundation over top of the Rare Beauty because I do find the glow to be a little overwhelming. But tentatively, I'm gonna say Rare Beauty is the winner of this round. But I'm gonna be kind because this was the first time I've ever used the Charlotte Tilbury and I actually do like the way that it feels. Next round, we have foundation. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like either brand's foundations, so this is interesting. Now, I pulled what I thought would be most similar. So on Team Rare Beauty, I'm going to use the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. And then Team Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Beautiful Skin Foundation. These both are kind of similar. They launched around the same time. So let's go side by side on these. Starting off with Rare Beauty. Just going to use my finger to spread it out first. And both brands have another foundation in their line that I also could have gone head to head with each other. Charlotte Tilbury has the Airbrush Flawless Finish foundation, and then Rare Beauty has the other foundation in their line. But I thought that these would be more fun to compete against one another because they are definitely more similar. Using my Say foundation brush to push this in. Okay, so Rare Beauty is on, Charlotte Tilbury next. So Charlotte Tilbury instantly has more pigment and it has a fuller coverage. It also feels thicker. Now, both foundations did something similar to my skin where I felt like they both looked quite heavy and emphasized my pores. Just not my jam for a foundation. But like I said, I don't like really either of the brand's foundations, so that's on me. I'm going to use my Rephr foundation brush to blend this into the skin. So I turn the lights down so you can get a closer look. You can see that the Charlotte Tilbury just has more coverage. It looks heavier. Both I don't really love the way that they look on my skin right now, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Rare Beauty because it looks less dry and a little bit less makeup-y and cakey. So Rare Beauty wins on this one, but I wouldn't recommend either. For the next round, we have concealers. So Team Rare Beauty, we have just their regular concealer. They do have a lighter weight one, but this one's the closest to the new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer. Charlotte Tilbury also has another concealer, which honestly in performance is probably more similar to this one, but it was old and expired and I hated it. So this is a little bit more of a fair competition. And I'm not gonna lie, just like the foundations, I do not really care for either brand's concealer. I do actually like the really light coverage concealer in the Rare Beauty line, but Charlotte Tilbury doesn't have a product like it. At least I don't have a product that Charlotte Tilbury has in her collection that's like it. Because actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Charlotte Tilbury does have a really lightweight concealer. I just don't own it. So these are going to be the most similar. So here's Rare Beauty. Let's go ahead and pop on Charlotte Tilbury. Now, Charlotte Tilbury's is going to have more of a glow. That's just the nature of the product. And I'm using a sponge to pat both in. Now, the big thing with concealer is how they wear. So like I said, I don't really love both of these, but if I had to pick one, I would pick the Charlotte Tilbury because it does look a little lighter on my under eyes and I think it wears a little better as long as I don't over apply it. Whereas the Rare Beauty, I feel like always looks really dry and cakey on my under eyes. So Charlotte Tilbury wins this round. We are going to skip powders for now and go straight into our contours. So Team Rare Beauty, we have the bronzer sticks, and then Charlotte Tilbury, I'm going to use the Hollywood contour one. Charlotte Tilbury also has a cream bronzer in the pan, but this product is so iconic from Charlotte Tilbury that I decided to pick this one. So I'm going to start off with the Charlotte Tilbury. This was Rare Beauty, excuse me. I'm probably going to mess that up this whole video, but Rare Beauty on this side. And I'm going to blend this, and if you watch my videos, you know this is one of my all-time favorite cream bronzers. I love how malleable it is. I love the color, everything about this. This is one of my all-time favorite beauty products in general. Whenever I do like a best bronzer video, best top cream product, that sort of sitch, I am always picking the Rare Beauty. So I think this one, I think I'm gonna like it better, but we'll see. Okay, so Rare Beauty is on. That was such an easy application. Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. Let's go. Now this one is great because it's one of the least intimidating liquid bronzers on the market. I do enjoy this one as well. Just cleaned off my brush and we're going to work this into the skin. So these do have a different medium to them, where the Charlotte Tilbury is a liquid and Rare Beauty is a cream, but they both work beautifully and they both look really nice. Rare Beauty has some more warmth to it color-wise, but they both worked out equally as good. This one is a close competition, but I do often reach for the Rare Beauty more, so the winner of this round is going to be Rare Beauty. Oh my gosh, Rare Beauty is succeeding much more than I thought they would. Let's talk cream blush. Both brands are known for their iconic liquid products. So from Rare Beauty, we of course have their liquid blushes, and then from Charlotte Tilbury, we have their matte beauty blush wands. She also does have shimmery versions, but I feel like the matte is closer. So I'm actually going to switch it over to the pinky colors that I thought were close. So for Rare Beauty, I have the blush in Bliss, and then for Charlotte Tilbury, I have the blush in Pillow Talk Pink Pop. So both of these are amazing products. I have no idea which one I'm going to choose, to be honest. So I'm starting off with just a little bit of the Rare Beauty. If you don't know how these Rare Beauty ones work, they are quite pigmented, so it's best to go pretty minimal with your application. Now this shade is less intimidating because it's nice and light, but it's blending into the skin beautifully. Let me wipe my brush off. Okay, let's do the Charlotte Tilbury matte beauty blush wand right now. See, the colors are quite close, and I'm going to blend this in. I think the Rare Beauty is blending in just a little bit better. I do think though Charlotte Tilbury has a nice long last time, and it's a little easier for beginners in terms of it not being overly pigmented, especially when you get into the other colors. This one is hard. Oh my gosh. I have no clue which one I prefer. Performance-wise, these are pretty much a tie, but because of the value, I do think the Rare Beauty is a better value. So tentatively, I'm gonna say Rare Beauty wins this one, but I do love the Charlotte Tilbury too. And then last liquid product, we have highlight. So I don't really like this product from Rare Beauty, but I have their liquid luminizer in the shade Mesmerize. And then from Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pillow Talk. These are pretty close. They're both pinky highlights. Okay, let's do Rare Beauty first. I'm gonna do 2 dots, and then I normally like to just blend this in with my finger. This shade, I feel like, kind of blends right into my skin normally. So I'm gonna use a sponge to kind of press that in to make it look more seamless. It's pretty, but it doesn't give what I want a liquid highlighter to give. Let's see what the Charlotte Tilbury one does. I don't reach for liquid highlights in general very often, so it's been a while since I've used this Charlotte Tilbury one. I already prefer the Charlotte Tilbury. I just feel like it blends into the skin a little bit more buttery smooth, but it holds the reflection that I like, and then I feel like, I don't know, it just looks better. It's blending into my makeup better. Put a little bit more because I squished too much out. The Charlotte Tilbury has a little bit of a thicker consistency as well, which I think it's holding its own better on my skin. So, Rare Beauty, Charlotte Tilbury. For me, the winner is Charlotte Tilbury by landslide. Okay, to set the face from Rare Beauty, what they have are these setting powders right here. And then from Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powders. Obviously, one is a pressed form and one is a loose form, but these are the powders that I have. Up close, as the concealers have set, by the way, I noticed the Charlotte Tilbury just looks a little smoother already, but we're going to start off with the Rare Beauty powder. I'm just going to set my under eyes, the T-zone area, like right here. I have the most amount of pores, so I like to put some powder there. And this Rare Beauty powder does have a subtle glow to it, which I think is very pretty. I don't reach for this Rare Beauty as often. It's not an all-time favorite, but it gets the job done. Brush is wiped off. Let's do Charlotte Tilbury. Now, I don't really like the Charlotte Tilbury to set my under eyes, but I do love the Charlotte Tilbury for makeup touch-ups and for setting areas that are not my under eyes. Okay, I kind of knew the answer going into this already, but the Charlotte Tilbury just looks more blurring. It looks better, in my opinion. The Rare Beauty does have more of a natural luminosity to it compared to the Charlotte Tilbury, which is pretty satin to matte, but I just prefer the way the Charlotte Tilbury looks, and it's been an all-time favorite of mine for a while. So the winner is Charlotte Tilbury. We're gonna go a little crazy with our glow for powder highlights. Now this one is a tough competition. So we have the Rare Beauty powder highlights, and then we have the Hollywood Glow Glide Face Architect highlights from Charlotte Tilbury. The Charlotte Tilbury is a much higher price point. This Rare Beauty highlight is one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to use the shade Mesmerize. This just blends into the skin like butter. It has more of a bouncy finish to it in terms of bouncing off the lights, and I just bounced the brush on my hand. But this one is a little bit more glowy than the Charlotte Tilbury. Now for Charlotte Tilbury, I have the highlight in the shade Pillow Talk Glow. This one also is quite buttery on the skin. It has more of a creamy finish in the pan, whereas the Rare Beauty is a little bit more silky. It's hard to tell because I have these over a liquid highlight, but the Charlotte Tilbury side looks overwhelmingly smoother, and a lot of that has to do with the liquid highlight. For my preferences, the winner of this round is going to be Rare Beauty, especially for that price point difference. However, if you have more mature skin, you have a lot of texture, or maybe dry skin, or wrinkles, fine lines, anything like that, the Charlotte Tilbury is much more flattering on that kind of skin type. So do keep that in mind, but for my personal preferences, Rare Beauty wins. But they're both great. Okay? Alrighty, on to eyebrows. So from Rare Beauty, we have the Brow Harmony It actually is a pencil and a eyebrow gel. So from Charlotte Tilbury, I have two different products. I have their eyebrow pencil, the Brow Cheat, and then I also have the Legendary Brows Micro Precision Tinted Brow Gel, which is very similar to the brow gel in the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty has a much thicker tip to it, and Rare Beauty also has an eyebrow powder. I definitely recommend the eyebrow powder over this one. I do not like this brow pencil. To me, it's too soft, and I feel as though I don't get enough precision, and it also is almost a little too runny, so I get more product coming out than I like. My eyebrow always looks almost too wet, and like there's too much product in it whenever I use this, so I used a really soft hand to get a desired finish. I don't like being too finicky with this brow pencil because it's just too creamy. It makes too much of a mess on my eyebrow than I prefer. But I do really enjoy the tinted brow gel that's in the Rare Beauty. Now, I don't reach for this product as much because I don't prefer the brow pencil, but this brow gel has a really nice hold. It does add good color. I do like overall how this product is all in one, but my eyebrow always looks a little messy with this. Let's go into Charlotte Tilbury. So we do have the Brow Cheat, which I think today is the last time I will use it because we are pretty much out. And that should tell you that I do enjoy the Charlotte Tilbury. Now, the Charlotte Tilbury isn't an all-time favorite brow pencil for me, but it is very, very good. Like, I probably wouldn't repurchase this because I think you can get just as good eyebrow pencils from the drugstore, really, but it's a nice one. It's not too wet, it's not too creamy, it's a good quality one. It's just that it's pricey for me. However, I do like the way that it performs. Then I'm going to finish off with the Legendary Brow, which has a little bit of a smaller spoolie. This brow gel is okay. It's nothing really to write home about. I don't reach for it too often. It gets the job done. I actually prefer the Rare Beauty's brow gel because it has a little bit more hold to it. But it gets the job done. My eyebrows are messy on both sides because they were both tinted brow gels. But the winner of today's round is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury. I prefer the precision I get with this product in general. And I'm going to reach for the Charlotte Tilbury over the Rare Beauty because I really hate the pencil on this. Okay, now eyeshadow. Rare Beauty, if there's one area they could work on, it's their eyeshadows. I despise this eyeshadow palette, but it's all I have that's still available. So we have the True to Myself eyeshadow palette, and then I just picked a random Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette that I felt like had some similar colors. I don't even think this one is available anymore, but any eyeshadow you get from Charlotte Tilbury is going to be better than the Rare Beauty. I am going to put very minimal effort in today's eyeshadow look because Rare Beauty is not really into eyeshadow. They don't really do too many eyeshadow looks with the brand. They're really all about complexion products, so I don't really think they care too much about their eyeshadow palettes, so I wish they would. I need eyeshadow palettes to come back, but I'm starting off with that, and then I'm going to use the shade. This is like a plummy shade in the outer corner. Then I'm going to use this pinky gold shade on the eyelid. Okay, simplest eye look ever. I have zero care in the world, honestly, for that Rare Beauty shadow palette. And then I'm going to go into with the Eyes to Hypnotize from Charlotte Tilbury and try and pick similar colors to get a similar look. Okay, I'm going to use this shimmery plum shade for my outer corner. I don't have a matte one, but this is even more pigmented than the matte one in the Rare Beauty palette, even though this is shimmery. So much better. And then this shadow looks somewhat similar to the eyelid color. I love Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. Rare Beauty is not even close. Charlotte Tilbury. Landslide again. And very last for complexion, we have setting spray. So Team Rare Beauty, we have the, what is it? What are you? Always an Optimist Mist. And then Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. These two are different. This one is more hydrating. This one is for longevity. But I'm going to spray them on. Rare Beauty smells fantastic. But so does Charlotte Tilbury. These are both really, really good products and do different things, but Charlotte Tilbury is going to win this one because this really does help my makeup last longer. It's my all-time favorite setting spray. So Charlotte Tilbury takes the cake on that one. Next round, we have Battle of the Eyeliners. So from Rephr Beauty, we have the Perfect Strokes Matte Liquid Eyeliner. And Charlotte Tilbury, we have the Feline Flick. This one is old. It might be dried out. I hope not. So I don't like the tip on the Rephr Beauty as much. It's a little too big for my preferences. However, I love the quality of this liquid liner. It's nice and black and matte. Okay, I can't talk while applying this. See, the Charlotte Tilbury has a longer and thinner applicator, which makes it easier to apply. Okay, these both have their pros and cons. I love how black the Charlotte Tilbury is, and I much prefer the applicator, but it kind of dries down and feels thick and tight along the lash line, whereas the Rephr Beauty, while it's not quite as black and a little harder to apply, it doesn't build up and it's not hard. They're both great, but I do prefer the Rephr Beauty on this one. But it's really, really close because I love the Charlotte Tilbury now, but Rephr Beauty just doesn't feel tight on my eye, and that's a huge thing. And they both wear really good. Now for mascaras, Team Rephr Beauty, I have a repurchase just now opened of the Perfect Strokes Universal Volumizing Mascara. And then Charlotte Tilbury, I've used their mascaras in the past. They were nothing to write home about. I didn't repurchase them. And I did repurchase the Rephr Beauty. I'm going to pop this on, but I'm telling you now, since I only have this one, since I loved it enough to repurchase it, and I didn't love the Charlotte Tilbury enough to repurchase it, that Rephr Beauty is going to win this one. I'm going to pop these on and some falsies, and we'll finish up with the lips. Lips! Okay, lip liners. We have the Rephr Beauty lip liner versus the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat. I tried to get similar colors here. So I have Talented for Rephr Beauty and then Iconic Nude. Rephr Beauty had a lot more peachy tones. I didn't have anything that was either pink or brown enough. So this is the best I could do. So we have Rephr Beauty out here. This is going to be lighter than the Charlotte Tilbury. This has a creamy application, but for me it's just not precise enough. It gives almost more of like a lip blurred look, and I don't think it's as long lasting. You guys know I have a deep love connection with the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, so everything about the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners I'm obsessed with. They are worth every penny. These don't look too bad side by side, but the winner is the Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury wins that one. And then for lipsticks, I have my bullet lipsticks. So from Rephr Beauty, I have the matte lipstick in the shade Creative. And then Charlotte Tilbury, I picked out the Iconic Pillow Talk. So starting off with the Rephr Beauty. The Rephr Beauty is a hint peachier. Then we'll do Charlotte Tilbury, which is a little bit more pinky. Side by side, the Rephr Beauty formula is a little bit more blurring. However, the Charlotte Tilbury feels more comfortable. And I have ample experience with both formulas. So I'm going to tell you the winner of lipstick formulations is going to go to Team Charlotte Tilbury. I love the variety in lipsticks that they have. And even their mattes, I feel like, are lightweight on the lips, but they aren't too drying. I love the color range even more. It lasts longer than the Rephr Beauty, so Charlotte Tilbury wins. Okay, I'm going to let you take a close look at both sides, and I want you to comment down below which side looks better. So I'm going to tell you the stats first, and then overall I'm going to tell you how the products combined, which I prefer. So there were 15 rounds today. It was close. Was 8-7. Charlotte Tilbury was the winner, but I'm pretty impressed because Charlotte Tilbury is so much more expensive than Rephr Beauty. This was much closer than I thought, but you know, numerically Charlotte Tilbury may have won, but let's take a look all together. How did the products mesh? What do I prefer the look of? And I'm gonna be honest, I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury side. I feel like overall the makeup is popping more. I feel like on the Rephr Beauty side, the colors aren't quite as vibrant. Everything is more glowy and harmonious looking. To me, the Charlotte Tilbury just looks better. I'm preferring the glow. I'm preferring the way that the skin is looking all together. But that's just me. I think they are both quite close and both makeup looks end up quite similar. Did also want to sneak in a wear test in here for you. Rephr Beauty is this side, Charlotte Tilbury. Overall, the Charlotte Tilbury is holding up better, and it has all to do with the powder. I'm telling you, the powder is just so good, but it's breaking up a lot more on the Rephr Beauty side. You can see my pores are showing more. I just look more oily. I feel like the color on my cheeks is holding up better with the Charlotte Tilbury as well. So that is something very important to note, that they both look good, honestly, for the wear time. They're both very good brands, lots of good products, but in this case, you know, the more expensive option is holding up better. So So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it fun. Let me know if there are any other brands you would love to see in a makeup battle. You can request these brands again to go against different brands. I only picked these two because I felt like these were the best, most popular brands on social media, but you know, I was thinking maybe Charlotte Tilbury and Pat McGrath, Fenty Beauty and Rephr Beauty, because those are more similar price points, things like that. Get your noggin to thinking. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys did too. And make sure you subscribe if you would like some more of these videos. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.